Hi.
I'm Mikayla. I'm going to be your counselor for today. How are you?
Good. How are you?
And sorry, what's your name?
Robin.
Robin. Awesome. And okay, so before we get started, I just want to let you know that just a couple of things that we should go over before we get started. First is the confidentiality. So that's just saying that whatever you say in this room, you share with me, does not leave this room or gets discussed with another person, third party person, unless, of course, you do discuss to harm yourself or someone else, vandalize property, disturb peace in society, or if I get subpoenaed to court and I have to share something with the judge and with the court party, everything, then that's something I have to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. What brings you in today?
I'm just kind of feeling. So, I dated this guy, and he had, heavy addictions to, many drugs and alcohol. And, we broke up back in, September. But now, I have a new boyfriend. But now, my ex is messaging me saying that, he's going through all this stuff. And, I still feel like I owe him some, obligation, even though we're kind of better off without each other, and now it's affecting my new relationship.
Okay, so pretty much what you're saying is there's this ex and you guys had some history there. Obviously, you said substance use and abuse, so obviously something there probably didn't end as well as you would hope. So obviously there's some things that haven't got tied off, haven't got discussed, haven't got resolved. And then this new boyfriend, so you're saying that him messaging you and just kind of playing with those emotions that never got resolved is affecting this new relationship.
Yeah, I still feel like I care about people. I don't wish him ill or anything. I just wish he could find help without me if he really wants it. I feel like now that I'm seeing someone new, he wants me to want him. I'm like, oh, I miss you, I love you, I can't do anything without you, kind of thing. And I'm like, I feel obligated to help him, but I don't know how anymore.
Yeah, so that's very fair, honestly, and that's a strength as well, having empathy and sympathy for people and being able to feel what they're feeling and feeling their distress and how they're not doing so well. It can make you want to help people, and that's just the helper in you. That's not something you should be kind of confused or scared about. It's something you should definitely embrace, and I think that's really awesome. For this though, for him, so when is the last time he messaged you?
He wanted to meet up for some closure talk, and I told my boyfriend that, so I was going to do it, but then he was the day of, 20 minutes before we were supposed to meet, he's just kidding, never mind. And then I was like, okay, I'm sorry that you're going through this, but I don't owe you anything anymore. I kind of went through this for a year and 3 months. I don't owe you anything. He's like, oh, you dealt with me, eh? Go F yourself. And then he blocked me from messaging him, and then he unblocked me to tell me something he heard, and then blocked me again, and then unblocked me and messaging me.
And this constant tie of conversation and then cut off and then conversation cut off. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel bad, because I'm if I'm the person he's still most comfortable with, it's how do I shut him down? How can I do that to someone?
Yeah.
Regardless of what he put me through and stuff that he said and done, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
Even though I feel I kind of should be right now.
Yeah.
So
and that's just the character. I think the characteristic in you is that you're a helper. You want to help people. And when someone's hurting and someone's not doing too well, and they are using actual words that are saying that you could make this better, you could fix this, you could make me happy, the helper in you wants to react to that and wants to help that person and use all the skills that you have and make this person better, and sort of allow people to rely on you.
Yeah.
That's often what helpers do. And for myself personally, I'm personally a helper. That's why I'm in this position. But yeah, that's definitely not something as well to be disappointed about yourself in. It's definitely good to be a helper sometimes, but also know when it could harm or affect your well-being. And I definitely think this is maybe a situation, just from what you're telling me, how it makes you feel, that it could potentially harm you. Did you guys ever get that closer talk?
No, like he broke up with me back in September, like through a text, cold turkey, out of the blue. Like we were fine, and it was so he could, like, I found out later, he just like reached a point and he wanted to like relapse without like the burden of hurting someone.
But then obviously him cutting that off hurt you.
Yeah, like, because like I did nothing but support him. So now that he's like messaging me while I'm like with someone else, I'm trying to focus on my new relationship, but like my ex is just kind of like bring me down and making me feel like I owe him something.
And do you use like this new relationship? Is he supportive in your life? Is he supportive over being these messages and like just talks you through it?
Like I tell him literally everything from like when I go pee to like conversations I have and like to like major events in my life. Like he knows too much about me.
Yeah, so you're pretty comfortable.
Yeah, he's like my best friend.
So you're honest when like your ex is messaging, and how does he feel about those situations?
He has like a different mindset. He agrees that I don't owe him anything, and he wants me to just like block him, cut it, like just cut the ties, whatever. But he also understands that like I'm someone that like cares about people, like in general. Like I don't want to see people hurting regardless of who they are. So he's like, he trusts me to do what like I feel is right for like my own mentality.
So that sounds like you have a really supportive system behind you as well. Yeah, that's actually very awesome. I think that's great.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And so obviously like for him in his position, like you can see that like this ex is like harming you and your well-being. So obviously he doesn't want to see that hurt. That's good that he's, instead of taking like the general approach of being jealous and angry and like attacking you for being messaged by someone else, he's taking a different approach and supporting you and giving you advice, but also not telling you what you should do. Have you ever considered taking that closure talk, like over text, over call, or going to see him? Like, is that a thought in your mind that you would want to do? Is that something you want to put out of the way?
Like in September, like I was the one that needed closure because
you were the one that got broken up with.
Yeah, and like it was just so out of the blue, like nothing was wrong, and then all of a sudden everything ended, and then like I got over it and I moved on and accepted the fact that it wasn't gonna happen, and like that was closure in itself. But now like he's telling me the standard like cliche, like I miss you. He's telling me that he'd go to rehab again if it meant like getting back together. And I'm like, you should do that for yourself, though.
Yeah,
like not for a relationship. But like
that's really good that you can realize that, instead of being like, oh, okay, like you do that, I'm your prize. Like, unless you can realize that you should do this for you. That's a very
So I don't know. It's just bringing me down because like I don't owe him anything, but like I also don't want him to like end up hurting himself.
Yeah.
Like
but you also have to remember that people make choices that are not reflected on what other people do.
Yeah.
That maybe like what people say and do to us, like, yeah, it does have an impact, but the ending decision that people make in their life, whether it be to harm themselves, to kill themselves, to abuse drugs, abuse alcohol, those are all choices that they made themselves. And it's not something that is fair to blame on someone else, because we did not come over and physically hurt them. We did not tell them to. We did not make them. There was nothing that we did personally from a different location that made them do that. So it's not fair for him to project that on you and for you to take it. The only way it has any power is if you take it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense in my head too.
Awesome. So you do want disclosure because you were the one that was hurt, obviously, but at the same time, it's like, what is the effect that it could have from seeing this person? Like
I'm okay without it. It's just like the obligation I feel. Like I feel like I have like some
some
duty to
help
him,
him,
like,
protect him, make
yeah,
him feel better with
it's
your
'cause
words.
I know the people that who he hangs out with, so, and I know that they don't like support him. Their support is like taking him to the LCBO or
Yeah.
like
And
driving him to go
definitely
get
the
drugs.
people that we have in our circle definitely impact the decisions we make.
Yeah, so it's like if he's coming